Okay, hello. Hello,
Hi. Hi,
Ate
Ate Pearl.
Sonia. Hello, Ate Jude. Thank you so much for your willingness to help Gary Zim and even Jesus Christ Church of Calapan on teaching us how to learn, how to care for people based on their age groups. So I just want to briefly introduce our three guest speakers for today. So Ate Eve is Pastor Evelyn Kang. She is a pastor, full-time pastor in Davao Evangelical Church. She is in charge of the children's ministry. So that involves the Sunday school, the vacation Bible school, and the junior camp. And she also leads a discipleship group among other ministries. So she's married to Pastor Jerry Kang, who is involved in sports ministry. So Pastor Sonia Lim is also a full-time pastor of Davao Evangelical Church. She's involved in many ministries. So she, aside from helping in the Sunday school ministry, she's also helping in discipleship group, in Bible study group. She's helping also in outreaches, like for example, DEC's outreach to Kidapawan, which is now online due to the pandemic. And we also have Pastor Julie Kong Yap. She is a volunteer pastor and she's in the youth ministry. So she is helping out in the Christian Youth Fellowship as well as in junior worship, in youth worship. So, and she's also involved in discipleship group for young adults and others. So we are very, very blessed to learn from them. They have many, many years of experience in ministering to the children, to the youth, to the singles, and to the couples. So let us start. So the first person we will interview is Pastor Evelyn Kang. So Ibzi, can you share with us what are the needs of children that we need to be aware of?
Okay. I have observed and also asked around, no, a few teachers lang. And I think one common thing that we have seen the needs of the children are they need love, no, support, and listening ear. I think they need understanding also. And especially for children, they need activities talaga. In IT Tola, no? So they tend to get bored when they just listen. No? So they are energetic. You need to give activities for them. No? And I also found out that they need touch. No? Children need touch. And of course, we need to be careful on this. No? Kung pwede, same sex lang. No? And we need to be careful with this one. They also need emotional support. No? And good role models ng guidance. And children also need clear instructions. Diba, sometimes we have rules, diba? Dan o mga rules, no? Pero clear naman yung instruction. Tapos if they, do mistake, we get angry, diba? Na? So they also need clear instructions. So other than that, of course, they need spiritual help, na? Guidance, physical support, helping them in their physical needs as well. Yeah. So I think these are most of what they need. No? And perhaps friends, no? They need good friends that will surround them. Yeah.
So, Ibzi, so before we ask Ibzi the second question, which is what are her top tips on how we can care for children, I would like to ask Ate Sonia and Ate Jude if they see other needs that were not mentioned yet.
Totally agree with Ate Eve ko what Ate Eve shared. I think in this pandemic, like, diba, the need of children for hugs, it's so difficult to give them at this time. Diba, parang social distancing, yung mga and the need for activities at this point, thank God we can go out now. before, parang 2 years back, but it was so difficult to go out, and they really need activities. But like the other day, I met a mom, and she was sharing nga na parang yung little boy, parang it's difficult for him to mingle with others, at parang yung noise, i-feel yata, yung maingay, yung ganyan. Kasi parang laging at home, di ba, for the past 2 years.
Right.
So it's a different psychology now. At this point ko, di ba? So pagkuta kan ko nga, the people the children ba who grew up in this pandemic will have a different psychological makeup in the future. Ayun. So it's really what Atsi Eve shared, what the need for activities, the need for love, to be understood. These are really needs not only of children, and later on I'll share the needs of the young people. It's the same need. I think even for couples, for adults, these are really the basic needs of all age groups.
Thank you, Ate Jude. Ate Sonia, do you be ba?
Probably if, di ba, children usually want to show off their craft, no, to show off what their color, ganun, no. So if they do, although sometimes we know all about those things, we still need to say very good, no, to affirm them, no. It's very important. That means something to them. Maybe it's not meaning wala lang sa atin, pero sa kanila very important yan. So siguro affirmation they also need.
Right.
Okay, so back to Ate Eve. So Ate Eve, can you share with us your top tips on how ordinary people, not necessarily pastors, how ordinary Christians can care for children?
Yeah. And I think this is very important, no? Adult ba, no? Or how we need to care for these little children. I think one of the things that is very common, no, to everybody that I ask around is the respect that they need also, no, for the kids. No, that let's not look at them as soyhan lang bitaw, maliit lang sila, okay lang. No, even Jesus, di ba? No, cares for these little children. So they need respect and love, no? Yeah. And a while ago we said about activities, right? So it's nice if we can play with them. Na? It's very important that we can play with them. And they will remember that one. Uy, si Atsi play with me. And then the next thing that they see you, Atsi Eve, they will call you Atsi Eve already. Also, diba? It's nice. And then, did I say talk with them? No? Talk with them, play with them, and hug. No? Ati Jut already mentioned that one, but of course, careful tayo now with this hug. Na kung pwede same, and maybe small ones, okay lang. There are those kasi very affectionate and they would just run to you and hug. Of course, you cannot just shoo them away. No, lalaki ka. No? Siyempre, you hug, no? You accept. Ganun talaga sila. So there are those like that. And one thing also that is very important is to be a good model. Because children look and observe and they follow, no? And which is very important, no? To be a good model, ba? Example ka. Kahit na they are not your pamangkin, you are not related, but the fact that they are there in the church, no? And kahit na hindi sa church, just be a good model. And that is one thing that they needed, not children needed. And it's also nice if we let them show their abilities or their capabilities, no? Like even in small things that they can do and take part in the church, to be part of the church ministry also. Kahit na siya ko tao sa kang, no, intaw sa kang lang, they will be very happy to help, na. So children are like that. They are very energetic. And and perhaps be approachable, no? Wag yung parang masungit ba? Kasi masungit ba yun? No? yung be approachable, no? And they love it talaga. They would love it. So through our actions, no, it will help them, no, do the right thing also. Yeah.
Ate Jute and Ate Sonia, would you like to add something?
Super agree.
And I would I would like to thank Ate Eve, ha. Kasi one of the things that she introduced to us is to pray for unreached people group, children, to pray for unreached people group, ha. So as young as they are, it's very important, no, to train them, Lord, to pray not only for themselves lang, their family lang, but also to pray for others. And that is what Ate Eve has been encouraging the children to do sa Sunday school namin, no. So grades 5 to 7, no, they are praying for the unreached people group every week, and one nation, no, every week. And so training is very important, no, diba? Training in prayer, not only in Bible knowledge, but also in reading the Bible and praying and so on and so forth.
Right. Yes. Agree ako dyan. No, I
Yeah.
forgot to mention na to pray for the children.
Yeah.
If you are handling a class or a group, then you pray for each of them individually talaga. Every week yan. And I think it's also applicable to all, no? Kahit nasa DG natin, yeah. Pray for them individually. Kasi they are different, eh. No? We cannot generalize everything. This person is different from the other. Their needs are different from the others as well. And praying for them will help us, no, especially me, going senior na, help us also remember their names. And the next time you meet them, uy, kilala niya pala ako. She remember my name. And pronounce it right. Oh, di ba? So praying for them will help. This I learned from Shoboksu. Si Shoboksu, every time I meet him, he has a pocket. So King Chong Boksu, ha?
Reverend
He has a Wesley Xiao. He has a pocket, no? A pocket, small notebook man yan. And every time he meets me, he calls my name. Evelyn si year. Alam niya saan, anong year ako, yung ganun, saan ako galing, yung ganun. Nagulit di kito. So I'm so blessed by his example.
Yeah. So let's move on to the youth. So we would like to ask Ate Jute, what are the needs that you saw among the young people that you are reaching out sa CYF and sa youth worship?
Like, I think it's a basic need of people to feel love, to feel, accepted, belong to belong to the group. Diba? More so for young people ko, diba? And even children. Sa young people, because they really want, I'd be accepted by this, I feel belong, I'm cared for, and I'm understood. I'm like, at si Son a while ago shared in, and at si Eve about, the feeling of validation, that, I'm special, I'm important. And I think especially now with a lot of dysfunctional families, I think the young people needed that. They need that. And parang a lot of pre-pandemic and pandemic, different pa. Diba? Parang pandemic time, they have to be at home lang. They cannot, share openly with their barkada, yung ganyan. So parang there are a lot of needs din in terms of, in terms of their emotional stability, and then the bad ngayon, there are a lot of, mental health issues, yung ganyan, because wala silang kausap masyado. And to be honest, parang they are spending a lot of time in games, diba? In gaming, and the values they get are from YouTube, from mga TikTok, yung mga and it's sad. It's sad, but it's a reality. And I've also asked around about, what are some of your needs pala? And then they shared with me about sometimes you need to be independent. And sometimes for young people, as a mom, I'd experienced that. Because as a mom, we are so used to telling our children before when they were young, oh, you do this, you do that, and then they follow. And then they come to a stage where they have their own thinking, they're more opinionated. And sometimes I need time to really let go and to remind myself, my daughter is now grown up. Yung ganyan. So I'll tell my daughter about it. You give mama also time to adjust to it. Because sometimes I have the tendency to really, dito songan, you have to do that. Ito dapat gawin mo. Oh. Parang when she shares with me, she just wanted to share her feelings. I think of ways na, you need to do that, to do that. So there's a feeling of the need to, now I'm independent. And you give me that independence. But at the same time, it's so difficult for them because there is a need to be independent. And yet there are times also that they realize, I really need adults. I really need guidance. So there's really a mixture of it. And added to that, na in a brain, it's not really fully developed. There are certain areas that they not fully developed, that, the thinking of, giving them the right perspective, but not fully developed. So, kaya ang mga young people, it's so difficult to understand them, but there is a need to be understood. So yun yung medyo challenging. Okay? So again, there's a need to be understood, to be listened to be validated, and to also find people, a need to find people whom they can trust, whom they can share their feelings with, and whom they can just be themselves with. And I think these are some of the things that young people need. Of course, for all of us, we know naman in any age group, the basic need is the need for Jesus Christ. Diba? The need for Jesus Christ. And I think there is also that fear among young people, the FOMO, fear of missing out. So they wanted to join this, to join that, to join this. So para, try this because my friends are trying this. So there's a need for that. So a need, again, it goes back to the need to be accepted, to belong, to not be out of place. Ayun. So these are some of the needs that I saw and I've asked around that the young people shared with me.
Thank you, Ate Jude. So Ate Eve and Ate Sonia, did you see any other needs of young people that were not yet mentioned?
Attitude is the expert na sa young people, no?
Correct.
And siguro I would add lang kasi I also have time, no, where some young people went with me to Kidapawan to do to do the DVBS there many years ago, many years na ha. Pero there, no, siyempre, I'm a Shensi type, very strict. And then they are young people, you tell them to do something, they will play basketball first before doing the things that they need to do. But then there are times but then there was once that I have to talk. Open communication, that's what I'm trying to point out. Open communication with them. No, kasi there was one medyo problematic siya sa grupo, and the group told me, so I have to talk with him na ito. And after that, no problem na. No, so yun we can talk to them, no, but siyempre respectfully and ganun, hindi yung boy joy or whatever, no, ganun. So siguro yun lang ang i-share ko.
Okay.
And I think added to that, because kaya parang, diba, there's the strong need ba to be accepted, to belong, to love. They tend to overthink a lot. They overthink na, how come I sent a message to this person just sin-zoned me. So they started to think why. And they started to think na, I submitted this work. Is it parang this, ito ba yung work na to acceptable to my group mates, yung ganyan. When I talked with my friend, she did that. So parang they start to overthink a lot because there's this strong need to be accepted la. Ayun, so yun overthinking, and because nag-overthink sila, hindi sila makatulog. Parang they worry, they're anxious, yung mga ganyan ko. So these are some of the results of these needs that they have.
Yeah. I agree with Ate Jut din, no? And of course with Ate Son. And I have observed before pre-pandemic, and even during sa small group din, I think yung one thing that does not change, they need to be understood, yun gani. They need listening ear, somebody to, because they like to talk, they like to share, but I maybe depende sa grupo, no? Sa group, yeah. But in my group, they like to talk. They want you to listen, they want hug talaga. And even now, sa pandemic, all the more, di ba? Parang inbo lang ba? Tang kapinsoitin gid gani, no? So they want that one. And I remember when we first meet, na, parang yung sa small group lang, 3 lang sila eh. So 4 lang kami. Parang, oh, it's our first time to meet. Parang thrilling talaga sila, no? Parang ganon yan talaga sila. And yeah, no? And they will feel that they are special. No, they are special. And they just share. Na give them time to share kung ano and understand them. I think that's what they need.
Okay, Tosha. Thanks. So now let's move on to singles. Singles. So, Ate Sonia. So can you share with us what are the... Oh wait, we haven't talked about kids yet.
Oo
Sorry,
nga
I'm
eh.
getting old. So we've discussed the needs of young people. So can we request Ate Jut to share with us what are your top tips on how we can minister or care for young people in the church? We go.
Later on, I'll share also some of the needs of couples. And I think we as a church, we as believers, how we are to help them, I'd summarize it in actually 5 letters plus 2 to enable us to really remember. Okay. First, I think do you want us to share now or later na lang after I've shared the needs for couples, and then we'll just put them together? What do you think?
Okay lang siguro, you share now. For you.
For youth, it's ABCDE. Okay, ABCDE plus my favorite 2Ps. Okay, the 2Ps. And then first is, I think it's really allowing them to feel to have that accountability as well. Okay, to have that accountability group. Someone checking on them. It's very important. To checking on them is not, asking, oh, hindi ka ba nag-cheat, yung ganyan-ganyan. It's more than that. It's asking how they are, how are you now, especially for 2 years lockdown naman. So a lot of students are still here, but starting next month, a lot of students will be going to Manila already, to other places. So I think they need accountable partners, accountability partners to check on them, to see how are you doing, yung mga ganyan, because it's really part of caring for them. And B is, of course, as a church, we need biblical truths. We need to share with them biblical truths, and we have to as a church, okay, as a church, we have sermon series, we offer sermon series, and then we also do Bible studies sa pulpit, sa ganyan. And tayo, parang in a way, in our own little way, as believers, we can share biblical truths with them, parang through chat, through what we've shared sa daily devo, yung ganyan, we can share with them those things, okay? And if you have the opportunity to be Bible study leaders, to be discipleship group leaders, that would be good. Okay, that would be good so that you'll be able to really share biblical truths to these young people. And C is really connection. So accountability, biblical truths, connection. And it's really that being connected with them. How can we be connected with them? Simple things like kunyari birthday nila, we greet them happy birthday. It's my parang what I do is kaya birthday nila, I greet them happy birthday, and then I ask, how are you doing? How can I pray for you? Ganyan. So actually, I have this thing ba? Can you see it ba?
Press it on your chest.
Ayan.
Hindi chest le.
Ganyan.
Yan.
Ayan, okay. I have this little chart. Matagal na to. It's a chart na, I have this chart na from January to December. I put all the birthdays here. And then I make it a point to really greet them. Kahit na yung mga matagal ng young people, I greet them. It's reconnecting with them. And then the young people I handle now, I make it a point to greet them, ganyan, special occasions, during graduations, yung ganyan, to ask how they are. If they have prayer requests, I jot them down kasi I'm getting old now, so I really will forget. So what I do is I write them down. I intentionally write these things down and then follow up them. How are you? Yung mga ganyan. Because it's part of being connected. And I think part of being connected is communicating in a language that, we'd see eye to eye. But it's so difficult because I'm 50 plus. Sometimes, I not understand their language. Once when they have DG, they will tell me, oh, si ganito, ganyan, so guwapo, ganyan. And then I'd ask them, ay, classmate niyo? Tapos they will laugh and they will say, no, si, ano yan, singer yan. Because I'm really, different language na ba? Yung ganyan. So, I make it a point to intentionally remember. They are into K-drama. They would, it's so difficult for me to remember all the actors, ganyan. And sometimes, I'd write it down, the groups they like, I'd research, so that I'd be able to communicate in their language. But at least they know the effort and they understand na, I forget naman again, yung ganyan, but they see the effort ba. And I think that's important for them. And I think being connected is also being open with them about my struggles, being open with them about, the challenges, and, sharing with them. I tell them, I cannot hear naman, yung ganyan. I tell them, I cannot hear, and they'll be very patient with me. And when they see my struggles, being open with them, I think it connects. It connects. And it shows them that, just sharing that, I have this struggle with, forgiving people. You pray for me as well. I think it enables them to see na, you're not up there. You also have your own struggles. And that's letter C. And letter D, I think it's really, for us, it's really the dedication. The dedication to, I want to make a difference in the lives of these people. And I think we need God to really give us that dedication. Because sometimes, we also have our own needs. And sometimes, we're not super women, super humans, but we naging superhumans lang tayo because of God's grace. And I think we really need to ask God, give me that dedication to love, to care, because as I said, they're not easy to love and it's not easy to understand them. And letter E is empathy, is putting ourselves in their shoes. I think sometimes we hindi natin sila masyado ma-understand because for us, easy lang man. When you have this challenge, this is how you face this. But for them, they have a different mind. So we have to understand them. And then it's really putting ourselves into their shoes. That's empathy. And that's letter A, B, C, D. Again, it's accountability, biblical truth, connection. It's really devotion and it's empathy. The two P's a while ago we've already shared. And it's again an emphasis. It's really personal touch. It's really having that personal touch that they know that you care for them. And a while ago, as Eve already shared, prayer. You have all of this. Without prayer, it's nothing. It's really praying for them. And it's always a reminder for all of us that, in the end, it's not really us. It's really about what God can do for these people. And it's encouraging. It's encouraging to, at times you would think na, I'm sharing this, I'm doing this. Parang they're not learning, yung ganyan. Parang they always do, they talk about their teachers. My teacher is ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. And you don't know whether, the Bible really, the biblical truths really go into them. But thank God, there were times, I experienced it many times, that, the members I had before na hindi na sila pumupunta church, hindi na sila Bible study, they would, PM me, they would chat me, Ate Jude, pray for me. And recently, there was this, there were the type that you wouldn't expect who would come to you and tell you, Ate Jude, we want to have Bible study again. And you just see how God works in their life. The thing is, just be caring, just to know that, I'm here for you, that this is the biblical truth I want you to learn. And in the future, if ever you need us, we're here for you, to pray for you. And I think that's very important. That's very important for young people.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Ate Sonia and Ate Eve, do you want to add anything? Tips on how to minister to young people?
Well said na si Ate Jude. Oh.
Speechless sila.
Yes.
Adding to that, a while ago, I've already shared with you. As a mom, it's sometimes so difficult for me, di ba? Yung parang ganyan na, to give opinions at once ko. Even for young people, ba? Sometimes I have to, really learn that, not to give solutions, just to listen and not to judge, be non-judgmental, just to listen to them. But it doesn't mean we don't tell them what is the truth. Okay, we also tell them what is the truth. So there should be balance. There should be balance. So it's really something that we need to learn. And I think for all age groups, we have to be examples. To all the age groups. A while ago, Ate Eve already shared that, but I just want to emphasize that as well.
Okay, thank you again. So now we move on to singles. Sonia, hello.
Yes.
Ate
Okay.
Sonia,
Mm-mm.
so can you share with us what do you observe, or from personal observation or interviews or other observation, what are the needs and struggles of single people? And then afterwards, maybe Ate Jude and Ate Eve can also add some.
Okay, I did ask around, and I found out that very interesting, kasi siguro singles are different din, no? One person different from another person. So what I am single. What I've experienced is not the experience of other people. Okay. Anyway, these are some of the things that I have collected, or whatever you call that, no? And of course, all Christians, including the single, no, need to grow in relationship, no, with God, no, so that to experience Him, to know His presence, His love, no, and with family members. Although siguro single 20 plus, 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus, yet still continue to need to have honest conversation with or healthy communication with the family, diba? And then of course with friends, no, because they should grow together as they share their struggle, as they share their prayer requests, as they share some of their happy moments or whatever, and they will grow together in the Lord. At the same time, will grow as a person. no? And here are and of course yung needs as in needs, one single said that sometimes single are also lonely, no? So we need companion. I say we, including myself, we need companion, but the companion does not necessarily mean or refer to a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but to friends as general, friends, no? But there are also times that we need to be alone. Okay, and then there's also a need to have a group or fellowship, no? Probably according to age bracket, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or and so on, or according to the interests, no? So that they can, meet and or chat, no? To share also their daily updates or their daily lives. Okay. And there is also a need for single to have an avenue wherein their talents is utilized. Okay, so that they can serve God. And then there's all, and then I will include some of them are struggles. Number one, some singles are pressured by family or friends, no, to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend and then get married. So that is a struggle. And connected to this is that sometimes some single are considered inferior to the married couple, to those who are married, no, because they said that marriage is a blessing from God, and to be single is the opposite, no, or to be miserable or whatever, no. Okay, and then there's also struggle that uh, single, no, will be the sole or main caregiver of parents, elderly parents. Most of the single are expected, no, to do this part. Okay, and of course, there's also struggle with temptation, and of course, all of us have struggled with temptation, di ba? But for the single, there's struggle to go with the flow in their workplace or with with friends who are not believers. No, it's hard for them. It's hard for them, and so and then there is also a struggle with change of lifestyle. Diba? Sometimes you work out of the city or abroad, and then suddenly you have to come home. So that is a change. And then from working, you have to come home to be caregiver. That's also a change. No, so there are these changes will make people stress kasi they are, it's something again they have to adapt, they have to adjust, and so on and so forth. And so these are some of the struggles that I have that they have shared to me. No, some singles have shared to me.
Tosya, Ate Sonia. So, Ate Eve and Ate Jude, would you like to add anything regarding needs and struggles of singles?
Yeah, and sometimes I agree with Ate Sona. There's such a thing na parang the label ba for singles, di ba? Kunyari, I don't know whether when you were studying, di ba? And pag the teacher is super masungit, they'll say, ay, masungit yan kasi matandang dalaga. Yung parang, it's the label people put to it. Yung parang, you can be single and happy. How can we label them? But then we tend to really label them. So I remembered when I was still single, I was praying to God, God, if you want me to be single, help me to be not masungit, because I don't want people to say na, ay, si Ate Jut, masungit yan kasi matandang dalaga. Parang, God, if you want me to be single, I want to be the best example of being single, that, I can be joyful, I can be happy. And, people would say, I want to be like Ate Jut. Even though she's single, she's happy. Yung ganyan. So, ayun nga, sometimes, I agree, Ate Son, the label ba people put to being single.
Thanks. Anything, Ate Eve?
I think I get to experience kasi being alone. Although I'm married, but being alone, I feel the loneliness talaga. And that's what at si Son shared, no? Nga, kahit na sandali lang wala si Jerry sa sa tulay because he has to do ministry. Ako lang magluto, ako lang po magkain, ako lang mag-isa. Parang, uy, lonely ka to. Hindi filthy loneliness.
Yeah.
So, I think the need to understand, the single. Yeah. Singles pala.
And we who are
Share tayo.
married,
Ha?
and we who are married can also adopt them, di ba? Yung parang ganyan. Parang
Yes.
kasi son sa share naman. To be friends with them. They also need that,
Yes.
especially pag special occasions ko. Pag Christmas, pag ganyan, people who are alone, it's good to adopt them.
Yeah,
Oh, that is what I'm going to share to the practical tips.
Yeah.
No? Okay, totoo yun ha. Thank you. Okay.
When I was in Davao, weekends ko ay kiadyot in Taugo with sina Art, sina Bebs, sina Darin, and ang pay si Shen Laipe pa. And it's really a very good experience to have parang it's like you have your own family in Davao. And I'm very thankful for their family. Yeah. And if ever somebody calls me matandang dalaga, I will correct them. Anong matandang dalaga?
Magandang dalaga.
Magandang dalaga.
Oh.
Ako, agree ako talaga.
Yes. Pati si Son, magandang dalaga.
Magandang dalaga.
Yes.
Word. So, let's ask Ate Sonia about her top tips on how we can minister to other singles.
Okay. Siguro as a church, ordinary church member, no? These are some of the things that we need to remember. Number one, respect single. Of course, many of you are respecting single. What I mean by this, sometimes, diba, I've mentioned kanina, sometimes we are look as inferior, no, to those who are married. But as Attitude said, we can be happy, no, and we can be a blessing to many people, no, because we are complete as a person. Okay, we are complete as a person. And then, so whether we stay single or get married, because in Christ, diba? We are, like Ephesians said, we are, we are chosen, we are adopted, no, we are redeemed, no, we are sealed by the Holy Spirit, no. So, meaning we are a complete person as single. So we also need respect. And then secondly, siguro, we need to acknowledge that singlehood is a gift from God. No, gift yan gift from God. And so let's pray for us. And like kanina na mention na believer need to spend time to build relationship with singles. Okay, and probably by welcoming them to the gathering nyo on special occasion, if you go to the mall to shop, kung pwede you pay for them, joke lang, and then or go to the beach or whatever, and connected to this is to adapt the single, because there are some single, like I mentioned, they are probably they are working, they are here in Davao because of the work. Okay, so they don't have the family. No, so they need a family, parang family to adopt them. So there are some sa church our church members who adopt wherever they go to out of town trip. Sama yung mga single sa kanila. Okay? So things like this, or there is a couple here that after Sunday worship, no, may mga single magsama sa kanila to have breakfast in their homes. Things like this, adopt them, no? And then, yung about the matchmaking, probably, I know, no, it is out of concern that people try to do matchmaking, no? However, baka lang many of the single would prefer, no, if we or would appreciate if people refrain from doing this, kasi sometimes it's awkward, it's stressful, no, but when you accept us as we are, no, and be our friend, it's very comfortable yan, no, and also probably that's why siguro there are some singles who would prefer not to go join family gathering or what, because there they will hear sermon. Bakit single ka pa? Things like this, no? So if better to refrain from doing this. Kasi remember, no? Diba all of us, our happiness, our fulfillment is from God. To have relationship with God. No, it's not on, being single or being married. Ate Eve also say, you are, kahit na married siya, alone man din siya. Sometimes lonely din siya. Single also have loneliness. Same lang. Okay, so let's parang refrain from making matchmaking, no? Kung pwede. Okay? And then, as to the caring of the parent, there should be boundary. There should be boundary, no? Kasi although no single are expected to be the one to take care of their elderly or sick parents, but then best is for all the siblings to work together, no? To decide what to do and who will do this. Sino magawa nito? Sino dito? Together, and then there should be boundary in a sense. For example, one single said, for example, I took care of one of the parent was sick for many years. And then when the mom gets sick also, other sibling need to take care, or else siguro hindi pa matapos, di ba? And so they single also have life of their own. No, so there should be boundaries. No, they should also be given, life to enjoy. I mean, to do what they want, what they prefer, and etc. Okay, and so as a church, of course, fellowship. No, if the church can create fellowship for singles, then they have fellowship. Or just encourage them, no, within their chat group. I was so happy when I got to interview one of them and knew that they have a chat group for many years. Sabi niya, Sonia, see, it was because of this chat group, no, because she was then working abroad. Na-lessen ang homesickness niya because of the chat group. Daily kasi sila nag-chat eh. No, sharing struggles, sharing prayer and whatever, no. So there, no, you can see that it is through this that they are connected, and then they share, and then they get idea to resolve their own problem, diba? When you hear this is what other people did on this certain situation, then you can also learn how you can deal with your own situation. Okay, and then as opportunity also to serve. Diba? As a church ito we have opportunity for them to serve, no? Kasi sometimes baka lang they will feel na, hala, I don't know what to do. I feel so useless. Wala akong ministry. Parang ganun. So, look at Achi Pearl. Singles are very talented. And we have more time. So that's meaning give us opportunity to share, no, to serve God. And sorry medyo mataas. Last na ito, no, give sermon on talk on singlehood. No, annually my Mother's Day message, my Father's Day message, and then sometime my parenting message. Singlehood, I don't know. No, di ba? So kasi ito, no, it's not just to encourage the single, it is also to educate the whole church. Yeah. About singlehood, di ba? And so, sermon or talks, mga talks ba? No, seminar like this one, no? Like what we are doing now, no? In order to at least to understand them more, to know their needs, and to see how we can be of help to them. And also pray specifically for singles. No, our church, no, we also have during our prayer meeting, we also pray for the singles. Okay, so this is one way also, the practical ways, no, the church as a whole can help the singles.
Okay.
Agree kami dyan, Ate Sonia.
Thank you, Ate Sonia. So any addition from Ate Eve or Ate Jude?
Wala man.
Wala na.
Ikaw, Ate Pearl.
Achi Pearl, no, prove them wrong that single is not a blessing.
Single is not a blessing?
Not a
Prove
blessing.
them wrong. Prove them wrong that single is not a blessing. Meaning, single is a
Single is a
blessing.
Uh-uh.
Oh, tingnan nyo lang si Achi Pearl.
Double negative, yeah. What matcha chai? Double negative, yeah. Yeah. I can't think of any tips right now. But maybe we can move on to the next group,
Yeah.
which are the married couples naman. Now, married couples.
Married couples, mahirap kasi there are a lot of, they have different from their seasons of life in a married couple. Once you get married, there's the honeymoon stage, and then you await, will we have a baby na ba? And some people, parang God gave them babies, some others, God's will na nawala. Yung parang ganyan. So that's another stage in their life. And then when they have kids, di ba, pagka toddler, mga babies, breastfeeding time, and then toddlers, elementary age, high school age, and they married for, tapos nag-college, nag-work, their emptiness, 10 years married na sila, 20 years, they're different, really. When you look at them, there are different needs. For the young parents, I think their needs is really about parenting. Like, kasi when I had Darin, di ba, parang hindi ko alam what to do. Parang, am I doing this? Tama ba to? Mali ba to? Yung parang, and kami during that time in our church, sa Davao Evangelical Church, parang sabay-sabay kami, many, like January, February, March, April, May, there are people getting, giving birth. And you tend to compare. You think, am I doing this right? So I think it's one thing that the couples need, to be guided in terms of parenting. Ang ganyan. So it's because for them, yun yung medyo hindi nila alam what to do. Okay? And also, I think when they grow older, also there's a need to be able to share ba? Parang, this is, my kid, my young, youth nga, di ba? As I was sharing a while ago, sometimes it's so difficult to understand them. And so parang we tend to share na, ganyan ba talaga? Bakit ang anak ko, parang hindi man nag-study, lagi mang games ng games, so parang ganyan. So they need people to also listen to them, pray with them, share with them, yung mga like, what my child is undergoing, and sa akin, yung parang we share together. There's a need for that. There's also a need for, to share challenges. There are a lot of health issues din as well, di ba? Parang sometimes as parents, parang mas gusto pa namin na kami na lang magkasakit rather than our children. And sometimes you need people to just share this with. Di ba? Kunyari, we've known of people who nagkakasakit yung bata, yung ganyan. And sometimes you just wanted na sana sa amin na lang yung ganyan. So I think it's listening ear. I think for all of us, we all age group, we need that, to have someone to share our burdens with, especially for couples. Like sometimes, especially this pandemic, di ba? Parang there are a lot of financial challenges. And I think it's also whether we want to accept it or not. Finances is one of the reasons why may mga conflicts between husband and wife. And ayun. And one of the need also is, the need, the want to provide the best for the family, especially for the husbands. Parang they want to provide the best for the family. And sometimes it's sad that we think that, providing the best for the family is providing material things for the family. And it's a sad fact. Okay, it's a sad truth that people tend to embrace. And so I think it's that the need for not only the dad, the mom, to really provide for the family, and yun nga, financial challenges. And between husband and wives, I think the need, it's when we look at the love languages, that those are the basic needs of husband and wives. The need to be affirmed, the need to spend time together, the need for physical touch, the need for to be served, the needs to be given gifts, to be shown love in those ways. I think those are some of the it's summarized there, the needs of husband and wife. So I think it's for couples, it's really a broad range of the needs of couples. But in the end, hopefully the couples will be able to really know in their mind that, you know, marriage matters. Marriage matters. And, you know, to love well through all the seasons of life. And I think it's just those. I don't know whether Ati Eve want to add to that, to those I've mentioned.
Go at Eve, or even at
No,
Sonia, if
I
you have observed something, or
Yeah. na-mesmerize ako sa pag-share ni Ate Jut na.
And I think there's a need, of course, the desire to stay married, but there are a lot of temptations. And I think sometimes I feel that the church, especially Chinese churches, we are so, parang we don't want to talk about things that, you know, family or couples face. Pornography. You know, parang sometimes you don't want to talk about this, but this is something real. And I think we need to be more open-minded about talking about this without judging people, to know that this is really, you know, something that a lot of couples are facing. And even, you know, not only pornography, but, you know, sometimes how God wired the minds of men, iba talaga, yung parang ganyan. So we need to be more open about it without judging, but praying really for couples, praying for our husbands, not hindi lang husbands, even praying for our wives. You know, these are struggles, and we really need to be open about this. Ganyan. Kasi parang tayo, nagaganyan ka? Yung parang, you know, but it's a reality. It's a reality.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ate Jut. So, what are your top tips on how other church members can care for those who are married?
Yeah. Yung sabi ko kanina, di ba, A, B, C, D, E. O sige, i-review daw natin, natandaan nyo pa. Sige daw. Anong A, B, C, D, E?
Accountability.
Yes, accountability, di ba? Accountability, a while ago, I already shared. You know, we have accountability partners, and be an accountability partner to someone. And if you're married, pray to God and find an accountability partner. A while ago, I just received a text from someone. Sabi niya, oh, I was with Shorty. She was talking, she was sharing that, you know, she had a sharing time with the Shorty, and then they read something in their Devo, and they were looking for an accountability partner, yung ganyan. So we really need that. You know, be an accountability partner to someone. And also, if you're couple, if you're even single, ask God for an accountability partner also. And as a while ago, I shared, be an accountability partner that is non-judgmental and who can really keep secrets. You know, sometimes, you know, we're accountability partner, and then, you know, Eve shared with me something, and then, you know, hindi ko man siya ginudge, but then, you know, I would share it with, you know, Ate Son, you pray for Ate Eve, ha? Ate Eve said, ganyan. Keep secrets as well. If you really want to share it with someone, ask permission. You know, can I share this with someone? You know, I think it's that. It's accountability, to have an accountability partner, and that includes, you know, accepting that person, no matter who that person is. And then going back in B, biblical truths, it's very important. That's the reason why we're a church, because the Bible is very important. Share with them, okay? Share with couples about, you know, reasons why God wanted us to stay married. You know, God authored marriage, and there are a lot of things. And even in parenting, you know, I think the Bible is really, you know, what we are to teach our children. And we are to share this. To share this, if you're married, share it with someone, couples, with anyone. Okay, again, connection is very important. Connect with people. You know, sometimes inviting them over for lunch or just sharing, just, you know, after church, talking with them. You know, these are connections. And, you know, sometimes it's sad that parang we tend to pansin the people who are loud, who are friendly, and we feel awkward to talk with people who are silent. Because we ourselves are not extrovert. It's easy for extrovert to talk with people, but many of us are introverts. And sometimes, in as much as we wanted to reach out to someone, it's so difficult for us. But let's pray for that, because people who are the quiet type, sa couples, ganyan, even sa young people, sa singles, you know, there are people who also need to be pansinin the most. So hopefully we can be that person. Sometimes it's difficult. It's not easy, especially when you're introvert. But let's ask God to be blessing to them. Let's connect with them ayun nga, going out, have dinner, and sometimes yung mga couples, they also need time alone, na husband and wife, but sometimes they have children, di ba? So wala silang maiwanan. Di ba? A while ago, as si Son said, singles have a lot of time. You know, you might probably want to say, you know, I'll be the babysitter, you know, for that day. But medyo challenging ngayon kasi di ba, COVID nga. So parang it's quite challenging at this point also. But hopefully, pag wala ng COVID, you'll remember this na, I'll be the babysitter for this week, so that, you know, you can go out on a date. And, you know, couples would really appreciate that. Kami, we're blessed to have a sister-in-law. I have a sister-in-law. So maiwan namin yung daughter ko before. But, you know, couples need that time alone, especially the moms. Kasi, di ba, parang, you know, after working, they have to be at home, yung ganyan. Thank God the dads now are more hands-on in bringing up their children. And I think that that's really good. Okay, and again, letter D, a while ago, shared dedication. It's really, you know, I'm intentional, but I'm dedicated to this ministry to help the couples. And I think that's very important. And empathy, again, it's really putting ourselves in the shoes of the couples. Before, hindi ko masyadong naiintindihan yan. Before, parang sabi ko, ayan si Atsi. Yeah, ganyan. Hi, late na naman yan. Yung ganyan, bakit laging late? But when I became a mom, I realized that sometimes, bakit ako nalilate? Because, you know, my time is not, you know, I cannot control my time. You know, suddenly, you know, my daughter would do that with, alis na ako mag-meeting, and, you know, she'd cry, she'd ganyan. Parang I cannot just leave. You know, I tend to understand them more because now I became a mom and I'm married. And parang I understand na anong struggle ng couple, yung ganyan, ano struggle ng couple with children. I tend to understand them. And then, you know, putting ourselves in their shoes. And again, going back, that 2 P's, you know, prayer talaga, lahat to, pwede natin i-erase, remember lang natin talaga to really pray for couple. And I think, especially your church leaders or the boksu, we need, it's lonely up there, you know. Sometimes let's be the people to really pray for them and ask how they are. And another P, yung personal touch. You know, once in a while, ask couples, how can I help you? You know, how can we pray for you? I think this matters a lot. So, and if you're couples, be the models for the younger couple. Be the model for them. And I think as a church, a while ago, as Sonia already shared, it's, you know, give opportunities for young people, for everyone to be involved in church. Because once you're involved in church, there's a sense of being family, ba? So I think yun yung very important. Ayun.
Thank you, Ate Ejil. So, Ate Eve or Ate Sonia, would you like to add any tips on caring for married couples?
At saka added pa, kanina at a while ago, di ba, Ate Son said, yung mga kaisyaw, yung ganyan. And sometimes, you know, pag sa single, you know, they would ask, na, oh, di TC yung ganyan. Ikaw na ba yung susunod? Yung mga ganyan. For sometimes the married couples, especially yung newly married and they're married for 3 years, wala pa silang kids. And sometimes, oh, dile, di TC yung parang ganyan, boka ba? Yung parang, it also adds pressure. So let's also be sensitive to that. And I think yung parang I've heard someone shared na parang she's married for many years before Shongteho in Ginako. But during those times, parang she felt there's really pressure ba? Yung ganyan. Para sabi niya, I accepted naman na wala akong kids or baka Shongte, bueho ba? Baka hindi ako bigyan ni God. But sometimes when people ask, parang iba ba yung feeling? So let's be sensitive.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So, wow. Thank you to everyone. Again, thank you so much to Ate Eve, Ate Sonia, Ate Jude for your time. Thank you for sharing with us from your heart. Thank you for the effort you put in. You even asked around for tips and needs and struggles. So thank you. Thank you. On behalf of Gary Zim and Jesus Christ Church of Calapan, I would like to thank all three of you. Thank you so much. God
Yes.
bless.
Also
Thank
for
you.
opportunity.
God bless.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Bye.